Assault police officer. They were going to do it. This guy's going to get 5 years of incarceration. So the Fargo tax capital are going to be forced to give this guy 3 months in trial because of the violent actions of the Fargo police. That's how corrupt and insane this system is. This guy's name is Joseph. He didn't attack anybody, he didn't threaten anybody, but he was attacked by the Fargo police. But he ends up going to jail after the attack. In my opinion, the guy was just defending himself. What do you think? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below if you want to support this channel.
ขอจงสดับฟัง เรื่องราวอันน่าเศร้า ซึ่งกล่าวว่า เธอเป็นนักร้องสาว ผู้มีใจกระหายหาความยิ่งใหญ่ ที่ข้อเสนอได้รับการสนอง แต่พรนั้น กลับคือคำสาปร่ำลือกันว่าเสียงของเธอยังคงอยู่ร้องเพลงในยามราตรีหิวโหยชั่วกันละอวสานได้ยินกันหรือไม่
Yeah, that's fine.
Covered it at the time in real time. It sounded weird. It sounded kind of like a Nazi speech. From what I understand, it quite literally was a translated speech from Goebbels. Like, different aspects of the speech were damn near identical to both Japanese fascist speeches and also Goebbels talking about Horst Wessel as well. But the storm is coming. This accurate here verbatim translation of key passage from Joseph Goebbels' speech titled "The Storm is Coming." Original German. The Strom delivered on July 9th, 1932 in Berlin. This was a campaign rally speech in the lead-up to the July 31st, 1932 Reichstag elections, where Nazi Party achieved its peak pre-1933 electoral success. Goebbels, then the Nazi go-leader of Berlin, used the speech to rally supporters by invoking the martyrdom of Horst Wessel, a young Nazi stormtrooper killed in 1930. Later mythologized in Nazi propaganda as the author of their anthem, "The Horst Wessel Lied. Wake Up America." This user says, "I brought up the Horst Wessel comparison the first day, and it is very clear that like Stephen Miller is very familiar with this. He looks exactly like Goebbels. I'm uncomfortable. What? Stephen Miller, who is genetically reincarnated Joseph Goebbels, will be speaking at Donald Trump's rally in Madison Square Garden. Can't imagine a uglier stain on U.S. history. Let it be the Nazis' last. Gargling gas. Yeah, that didn't happen. Oh my God. What the Stephen Miller is also Jewish, by the way, for those of you who don't know. Obviously, that hasn't stopped him from leading into this Nazi, though, let's be real. It's a sign of the times that American fascism is more diverse than previous versions of fascism, and a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people have a hard time coming to terms with that. I mean, he has been quoting prominent Nazis for quite a while now, but who's going to stand up for our daughters? Who's going to stand up for the girls of America, the women of America, the families of America? Who's going to stand up and say the cartels are gone, the criminal mongers are gone, the gangs are gone, Americans are Americans and Americans only? The comparison it's no longer a dog whistle, it's more so a bullhorn. You have no idea how determined we will be to save this civilization, to save the West, to save this republic. So let's start off right there. So for those of you who don't know, I briefly covered the horse and vessel comparison in the past, like in the immediate aftermath of Charlie Kirk's assassination, saying how I was worried that the Republican Party would basically use this as an opportunity in the same way that the Nazi Party did, memorializing horse vessel to be like a rallying cry to attack the communists and leftists and the enemies, right? Because Horst Wessel was a stormtrooper that was killed in his home by two, I believe, Jewish communists, as a matter of fact. They walked up to his house and they shot him dead, okay? Fascists in the 1930s had this central trauma of seeing the party nothing, their identities were won by World War I. This guy's dad's real estate business took a in the 90s, and he had to go to school with kids who weren't white. That's how he became a fascist. I guess his version of the storm of steel is what his dad had to sell his house and buy a smaller one south of the I-10. Now let's look at the key components of the speech and the similarities between what Goebbels had talked about in his "The Storm is Coming" speech versus what Stephen Miller said. It starts off with, "So our dead comrade Horst Wessel wrote, and we are fulfilling his prophecy. The others may lie, slander, and pour their scorn on us. Their political days are numbered." Stephen Miller said, "The day that Charlie died, the angels wept, but those tears had been turned into fire in our hearts, and that fire burns with a righteous fury that our enemies cannot comprehend or understand. They promised you, workers, citizens, and creative Germans, a Reich of freedom and beauty and dignity. You are nothing. You can build nothing. You can produce nothing. You can create nothing. We are the ones who build. We are the ones who create. People rise up and storm. Break loose. The storm whispers to the warrior that you cannot withstand my strength, and the warrior whispers back, I am the storm. America is the storm. We are the storm. You are the witnesses, the builders, the will-bearers of our idea and our worldview. Our lineage and our legacy go back to Athens, to Rome, to Philadelphia, to Monticello. Our ancestors built the cities. They produced the art and architecture. They built the industry. We, the people, have awakened. We have risen against oppression. 15 million people have joined an army of revenge. They cannot imagine what they have awakened. They cannot conceive of the army that they have arisen in all of us. You, men, women, and comrades. People's uprising. We have served the truth. And only the truth. For 12 years, they have insulted and outlawed and slandered and persecuted us. We will achieve victory for our children, for our families, for our civilization, and for every patriot who stands with us. The reason why these things are nothing alike is because the entire speech is a combination. This entire speech from Stephen Miller is a combination. Numerous different Nazi speeches. The others directly from even down to like building the legacy. Our legacy hails back to Athens, to Rome, to Philadelphia, to Monticello. Of course, those Nazis going to talk about Philadelphia in their speeches. But it's basically just like taking a lot of Nazi sentiment, talking about lineage, talking about the like white people and white people's mythology is what is at stake here, which was the exact fear that Nazis tried to instill in their folk. I don't understand this Philly inclusion. What do you mean? He's like. seen. It basically ties Greek mythology and Roman mythology back to continuation of like the superior Western mythos. Maybe he means Philadelphia and not in America, but I think he's using that as a double entendre. I thought at most. I think he's tying it back to the he talks about lineage, he talks about how they are the storm, he talks about vowing revenge for Charlie Kirk, and how similar the attempts are to what Goebbels did in the aftermath of Horst Wessel's assassination. I don't think it's a coincidence. I think it's a not even a dog whistle at that point. I think it's just a like from different parts as well. The storm whispers to the warrior that you cannot withstand my strength. Rise up and storm. Break loose, says Goebbels in his total war speech in 1942. Hitler's first speech as chancellor. Our lineage and legacy hails back to the Athens, to Rome, to Philadelphia, to Monticello. We will defend the civilization to save the West. The richest and most beautiful areas of the world civilization will be transformed into chaos and a heap of ruins, a 2,000-year-old inheritance of the highest works of human culture and civilization. Hitler's first speech as chancellor in 1933. You have nothing, you are nothing, you can build nothing, you can everything that he has is stolen. Hitler on the Jews, Munich 1922. You thought you could kill Charlie Kirk, you have made him immortal. You live for that task and who die for it. Later be not only the martyr. Best assassination. I think there are even better speeches that you can give to them. Speech by Goebbels, and in this speech he talks a lot about when he's like rallying as a rallying cry for hero, but there are mentions of rising up and storming and breaking. Also, more within the combat force vessel and following his lead. Okay, that's what I mean. Like it's identical. So our dead comrade Horst Wessel wrote, the others may lie, slander, and pour their scorn on us. Their political days are numbered. Adolf Hitler is knocking to the gates of power. I mean, this is obviously a different circumstance because it's like post-Trump's rise to power anyway. There is also one of my favorite versions of propaganda that has existed in all different times and all different places, which is the party hacks of the Socialist Party are suddenly remembering the people for a decade. The illustration in front coats and selling rooms and tables filled with movies tables and champagne bottles. Socialists, champagne socialists, they don't care about the working class. We on the other hand do. Now they wear workers' caps and fill their newspapers with urgings like people wake up. Well, we the people have awakened. We have risen against oppression. 15 million people have joined an army of revenge. They who accepted their nice suits from the Skrillex, Jewish brothers involved in a major Berlin financial scandal, can hardly imagine that an honest German worker will spend his starvation wages for a decent brown shirt. They who have grown fat on caviar, who are paid 7 or 80 or 100,000 marks a year, was President confirms over all of Germany. They want to pretend they are the opposition to the barricades, they cry. The Nazis who align themselves with capital and convince those within the corporate structure that they would be the ones who actually preserve the capitalist hierarchy by force are also in the lead up, in the build up to their rise in power, in an effort to galvanize as large of a population as they possibly can, presented themselves as being pro-worker, left populist. This is something that I have pointed to over and over again. The Tucker Carlson method, if you will. The notion that they are the real defenders of the working class, that there is some honor in an honest day of work, that their enemies are actually out of touch and elitist, and these socialists are not really invested in fighting for workers whatsoever, that they're all a part of this like elite society. This speech isn't a one-to-one plagiarism, but it uses the same propaganda framework and devices, and they're doing clear dog whistles and call-outs and the inspiration. Yes, this is the turning point. Big Hitler vibes here. I mean, yeah. And you are witnesses of this Germany. You people have affirmed this Germany. We people speak in your name. This is like in the millions. We come for you, the people. This is a warning sign through and through. Obviously, it's not going to be a one-to-one. There are going to be differences, right? But the reality of the matter is, adjusted to this current time, adjusted to American culture, this is as close to a plagiarized speech as you are going to get. It's that simple.
They cannot imagine what they have awakened. They cannot conceive of the army that they have arisen in all of us. Because we stand for what is good, what is virtuous, what is noble. And to those trying to incite violence against us, those trying to foment hatred against us, what do you have? You have nothing. You are nothing. You are wickedness, you are jealousy, you are envy, you are hatred. You are nothing. You can will nothing. You can produce nothing. You can create nothing. We are the ones who build. We are the ones who create. We are the ones who lift up humanity. If you thought you could kill Charlie Kirk, you have made him immortal. You have immortalized Charlie Kirk. And now millions will carry on his legacy. And we will devote the rest of our lives.
Norm Finkelstein said that American fascism can't happen because there is no left opposition, but Norm didn't consider that the current people just manufacture the opposition on the minds of their followers, conservative mass psychosis. I think Norm is going back on that anyway. I think not only can they design an enemy from within, I don't know to what degree of success they can actually achieve this, because when I first saw the speech yesterday, I said, this is a type of like nerdy Nazi that I don't think Americans respond to super positively because they're too self-involved and too self-invested. Like, it requires a level of discipline that many Americans simply do not have. It requires an ideological investment that many Americans simply do not have. Because the time frame that the American exists in is one of complete capitalist domination. Capitalism has designed a system that has made people servile. Capitalism has designed a system that makes people feel comfortable even when they are experiencing discomfort. And they're too invested in their own societal obligations, their work requirements, to actually get together and engage in any sort of collective action, whether it be in the wrong direction, whether it be in the right direction, such as socialism, exceptionalistic, that captured the attention of every American, that has played a role in destroying labor organizing and labor militancy in this country, with much success also due to systemic factors, of course, due to oppression and suppression historically. But those very same individualistic, idealistic notions are also, I think, disrupting
What?
You have no idea. The dragon
Dude, what in the fuck is this anyway?
So the question that was on my mind right? Who's he talking to? Because this was, especially after Penny Johnson spoke, and like Jack Masoviak was also a white supremacist spoke, like the speech is shifted to attacking the enemy over and over again. We have non-believers, we have enemies amongst us. They are responsible for Charlie's dead. They want to kill all of you in the same vein that they killed Charlie Kirk. Like, they just kept repeating this position over and over again. And as I've described already, the position on this is basically either not knowing who Charlie was prior, or at least being kind of aware of who he presented, and roundly criticizing his assassination while also simultaneously admitting that his worldview. And it makes sense because a lot of people are not totally on board with this administration either. Charlie Kirk was
Fuck.
So the way that the population feels about the things that she has done so far, that's the way they felt about Charlie Kirk's worldview as well. And it's not like Donald Trump is this incredibly popular political figure, with the exception of like the people on TikTok. There is no like official party apparatus.
What in the fuck?
This is where this really thing. That doesn't it's from laying the blame squarely on the left and claiming that it is actually the left that killed Charlie.
Stop fucking sweating so hard, bro.
Every single person that is against this administration, that sounds a little fascist. And you look at the actual polling on this, you realize that is actually the majority position. So what they're talking about is that the majority is actually an enemy that is killing Charlie Kirk with, of course,
You guys are bitches, dude. I'm fucking trying out a character, you fucking cowards. She has nothing on her. You guys are fucking lame.
But instead tried to do free speech and free discourse and back and forth to arrive at the truth. And people didn't like that his arguments were so powerful they ended up killing him. That is the way they're designing this. I am not so certain that this will be successful in terms of galvanizing the public for feeding enough, giving them enough for this administration to basically accomplish all of the political messages. Now, of course, his propaganda is also being regurgitated by liberal movements as well, whether they are afraid of Donald Trump or they are his acceptance riots, it does not matter. They have also played a formative role in trying to design Charlie Kirk as a
What in the fuck is this lunch?
It's not stopping them from attacking.
You guys are such fucking pussies, dude. I don't care. Just fucking go. You guys are fucking cowards. Dumb motherfuckers, dude. Stupid. Just waste my fucking time.
ดีมากเลย
So, if you got
Immigration.
video showing that all agents detaining aliens and people working on it.
Police continue to make dozens of arrests every day as the federal search continues.
At this point, Trump has to this process, giving ICE this much power means a bunch of Americans are being harassed, not straight up detained. Kids who were born here, maybe 40-year-old cancer